Hello everyone, my name is Eli Ruzdar. This is the second video regarding self-realization by examining the 3 states. I would suggest if you can, please listen to the first video, which I explain it very spontaneously. And then in this video, I try to gather all my thoughts in writing, and I would put it in the form of a bullet points, and I would read it to you so that you can just understand it a little bit more. It's like that intuitive part of you would be more invoked and realize the message. So definitely the prerequisite of this video is the previous video that we just had regarding this self-realization by examining the 3 states. And also these 2 videos are going to respond to those people who have this common question. And the question is, knowing I am consciousness, why am I not free? Why am I still suffering? So this message will give you the answer why. If you really listen thoroughly, these videos needs to be listened over and over again, so that the actual message, the real message, the real view is invoked in you. So that once that view gets invoked, it's generally going to be just cancels all impurities. It just whatever is left is absolute truth in here. So please listen to this message thoroughly, focus on that, and hopefully for the true seekers, this is going to be an amazing message. Now, I'm going to read through this step by step, and especially for those people who can understand things and comprehend things by reading, that can help. Maybe you can take notes and you read your notes, and then maybe that invokes that true intuition in you, which is right there. So please listen up and see what we can do here for you. The self-realization by examining the 3 states. Why am I examining 3 states? What is the benefit of that? By examining the 3 states, a shift of point of view happens that will lead to discover who I am. The correct shift of the point of view will automatically override the old point of view of waking world is the reality. So then, in other words, when this correct vision is invoked in you, the old vision will be override automatically. And that old vision is what? That this waking world is the only reality and nothing else. The 3 states are deliberately superimposed for this examination, and at the end, they will be negated. The misconceptions will be negated at the end. That indicates the legitimacy of this examination. That means to understand this message, I have to superimpose the 3 states, waking, dreaming, and deep sleep in here. However, at the end, these 3 states, all 3 of them, will be negated. You will see how it works. Because the ultimate truth is only one. It is focused on the actual experience. That means this message, this video, will help you to see the actual experience, not what you think it is right. What is your actual experience in here by observing waking, dreaming, and deep sleep? And it's not focused on the objects. The objects in the states, waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and what you experience in waking, dream, deep sleep, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that who is having this experience. That's the bottom line. So ultimately, it's not about the experience, it's about who I am. Once I realized myself, I noticed that the states are nothing other than me, because they appear and disappear in me. What remains is one and only self, without the second. Self without the second. Only when I take refuge to my true nature, the duality comes to an end. Otherwise, there will be suffering. The only way to do that is to be able to rise above the world and state. I would explain that later, the detail. All the philosophers are stuck in the waking state because all their datas and argument is depend upon the assumption of the world, the waking world is the reality. Once you have that assumption, you get stuck in the waking world. That is why they are unable to come up with a concrete and satisfactory conviction. Because this path is about conviction. It's not about just understanding and philosophizing and talking about it. We don't talk about the truth. We are the truth. But you have to be able to see that. See it for yourself. In order to understand this message, you need to be willing to shake off this point of view that the waking state is reality and adapt to this new impartial view while hearing this message. That means for the time that you're listening to this message, set aside this idea that this waking state that you're experiencing is the only reality. Just set it aside for a minute, for a while, for during the time that you're listening to this message, so you can understand this message. Because if you keep thinking that this is reality, it's gonna block you. It doesn't allow you to hear me right. So you need to set this, if you can. That's hard, but you can. The true seekers, they can do that. So I'm sure that you're able to do this. So you should be able to shake off this point of view for a minute and then adapt to this new impartial view while hearing this message. Only then this examination of three states has the capacity to invoke intuition in you. So you will be able to see the truth for yourself based on your own actual experience of the three states. So that's, I don't have to explain that anymore. So it's very obvious. Now, what are the requirements in here? The path of the truth, this path of the truth is for true seeker of the truth. The one who only needs to know one thing, and that is the truth only of who I am. Who am I? That individual who has a burning desire to know the truth. This seeker should be at the end of her rope or his rope. Tried everything and still stuck in the waking state. Someone who has the burning desire to know the truth. That is one of the main requirements in this path. The few other things, one is the focus of the mind, of course. This person has to have a one-pointed mind, introvert mind. Meditation is very important. Someone who is a long-term meditator has learned how to focus the mind. It's not about, this is not just the focusing of the mind. It is a matter of be able to be centered and focus in one subject, which is this subject, and to understand first, because this is a process, okay? Your mind has to be focused enough to be able to understand it first. What am I saying? And understand it correctly. Then try to analyze it and comprehend it. And then try to contemplate on that and then see if that is a fact for you. So these two steps of the mind, the focus of the mind, and also the other one I just want to talk to you about, the purity of the mind. The mind has to be pure. That means it has to be selfless. This mind should have done some good selfless actions so that this me and mine and the color of this personal me should be a little bit with less color, less colorful, let's say. It has to have some kind of a moral life to have a pure mind. So purity of the mind is also needed besides the focusing on the mind. One thing about the focusing on the mind, I have to say that when we're talking about the mind, it is not the question of how smart you are. A lot of smart people are here, but they cannot understand this message. Okay? Correctly. They may hear it, but they may not understand it correctly. It is not the intellectual understanding. So, in order to understand this, senses are no value. You cannot understand this message by your senses only and how you feel. Logics are no value, because logics and senses they're all happening in this waking state as a person. So they cannot understand, they cannot see that. Okay? The three parts that is very important. First, you hear it, make sure that you hear it correctly, understand it, hear it first. Then try to process it, try to understand it. And then at the end, contemplate that. Contemplation should take place in private, in silence, in meditation, so that sinks in, that intuitive part of you has to be invoked to be able to see this message. Again, this message needs to be understood intuitively, using intuition to realize the self. Very important. Now, in the previous video, I gave the story of the King Janaka. If you haven't seen that video, please go back to that and listen to the whole video, including that story, because that story is very profound. And I'm not going to repeat that again here. However, I'm going to refer you to that story while you are listening to the rest of this message. So if you haven't listened to that video, please go back and listen to that first. Now, now I'm going to talk about the point of view that everybody has. Like everybody in this world has this biased point of view. So there are two misconceptions here in everybody's life. One is, I was born, I grow up, I get sick, and I will die. That's number one misconception. We're going to explain about that later on. I am awake, number two. I am awake, I sleep, I dream, I have a deep sleep, and I wake up again. That's the second misconception. These are the stuff, this is the view that everybody has right now. That is the point of view of the waking state. That means that the point of view that this waking state is actually real. So if that is accepted, then these are the things that comes with it. The waking state is real. And the waking state is common to everyone. It seems like I wake up into this world, which was before me, okay? And then I experience everybody and everything, and everybody else is experiencing that. So it is very common to everyone, okay? And also, I was born, this world was there. I wasn't there when this world was there. So I was born in this world, I grew up, I get sick, and I die. But then when I die, this world still is there. So that is the misconception. That means that this world was prior to me, always there, and always will be. Whether or not I'll be there, this world is going to be there. So this is the point of view of the waking state. It's a biased point of view. That means that it accepts this world, this waking state, as absolute reality. This waking state is real and is common to everyone. So that's the misconception number one. Number two, dream state is false, it's imaginary, it's created by waking mind, and it's private to me. So the dream state is private, but the waking state is common. Just remember that. Deep sleep is unconscious. It's just blanked out. That's how we see it. States happen in times. That means first it's a waking state, then in time it is a dream state, and then the dream sleep. So they are happening in the sequential in time. So they are time bound, these states. Just remember that. That's how it is. State is in the time. And state is in waking world. That means the waking world was there before I wake up. My waking state opens up in the world, and then the world is still there. My waking state closes, and so therefore, and then I go to dream and then have a dream world. So in other words, the waking state is in the world. That's how the misconception is. That's how we see it right now. The waking world exists independently from my waking states. That means the world was there before, then I woke up, then my waking state happens in the world. So in other words, first is the world, then my waking state. This is how I see it, okay? The dream and dream sleep and deep sleep are events in the waking state. That means in this world that I'm living, I have a waking state, then I go to bed and I see the dream that happens in the waking in this world that I'm experiencing, and then the deep sleep I have. So all three of them are events, like deep dream and the deep sleep are the events in the waking states. See if that is true. Later on, we're going to see that. But what is the correct view? Each experience should be examined from the point of view of the actual experience of each state. Actual experience. Very important. Universal experience or comprehensive experience or unbiased point of view is really everyone's common experience. We have that unbiased experience. We are experiencing already that as a fact, but we have never noticed that. Here I'm going to point out to that. The waking, dreaming, and deep sleep is what everyone is experiencing. It is not a mystical experience, it is not a religious belief, and it's not a blind faith. So that's why it is so simple, because everybody is experiencing that. That's everyone's experience. When I say deep sleep to you, you know what it is. I don't have to tell you how it is. Everybody has the same exact deep sleep. Deep sleep experience is for everyone. And everybody experiencing exactly the same deep sleep. The dreams are different, but deep sleep is exactly the same. This method of examination of three states is the most convincing and easily experienced if the seeker is willing to give up the waking point of view as a reality. That means the waking point of view means that this waking state is real, dream is the imagination, and deep sleep is just the unconscious state. If you are willing to give up this one, just this one thing, you will be able to see something absolutely truth for yourself. This is an intuitive view. It is a direct view of the three states. So we see this intuitively, these three states, from the light of this existence that is here. From that light, intuitively, we can see what is actually happening. To understand this, we need to give up the waking state as the reality and examine each state independently as they are experienced when they are appearing, not how they are looked at from the waking point of view. We just explained that, okay? Very important. To examine waking, dreaming, and deep sleep without prejudice towards any one state. That means if I have the prejudice that the waking state is true, the rest is not true, then I'm not going to understand this message. Okay, you should be able to shake it off, this idea, this belief. It is a belief, it's not a reality. Based on that examination, with coming up with a conclusion of what is real and what is unreal. what is changing and what is not changing. Okay, so that's clear. But ultimately, it's not about the experience, it is about who I am. This method is helping me to realize the method of three states is not about the three states. It's not what objects are in the three states, or evaluating each states, evaluating the objects in this. That's not how it is. It is about who I am. It's a who is experiencing these states. That is the point. Okay, now here I am talking about how is this actual experience of three states is happening. In order to do this, we need to shift our point of view from horizontal of the time and space that we are in right now to a 90 degrees above, okay? The shift of the point of view, that's how you have to look at it. Above all this, above this world, above the states, okay? See if you can do that right now. By shifting the point of view to 90 degrees angle, here is how I view. See if that is happening. The waking states open up in my awareness. So my awareness here, there is this open state, open waking state opens up right like this, like an object. Waking opens up as an object and then closes like that as an object. Then dreams open up as an object and then closes an object. They appear to me. They both come and go, obviously. We explained that in the previous video. They appear for a while and then completely disappear, just collapses. And then the other dream starts, appears and disappears and collapses. They both come and go. The waking world has no independent existence from my waking states. Let me show you how. When I am this awareness that I'm aware of these states, the waking states open up like that, okay? And then waking world appears into that. The waking state needs to open up prior to the waking world. No one can ever experience the waking world independent from waking states. Let me give you an example in the dream. When you are in the dream, the dream states needs to open up prior to dream world to appear. You cannot experience dream world without opening up the dream state. Okay, so the dream state is prior. The state is prior to the world. Same as the waking state. The waking state needs to be open prior to the world to appear. The world as a stand-alone cannot be experienced without without the presence of the waking state. So therefore, my previous point of view that the world exists and then my waking state opens up in the world, that was the wrong vision. The right vision is the waking states open up and the world and time and space, they are all in this state. So the state is prior to the world. If the states open, the world opens up. If a state doesn't open, there is no world. That is so crucial if you can see that. The world is in the state. The state is not in the world. That was the wrong vision. The correct vision, when I go to 90 degrees above, I see that the state is opening in front of me and the world, not the other way around. The state needs to open as an object, then the world, then the body. This body is in the world. Everything opens up in front of me. So waking world has no independent existence apart from waking states. Very important. So the state has to open prior to the waking world. Same thing with the dream world. Dream world cannot open up without the dream states. So we said that no one experienced ever the world apart from the waking states. Cannot be experienced, has not been experienced. The word is in the state. The state is not in the word. We said that. The state is prior to the word. Before. Prior. It has to. It's not the other way around. The way we see it before was the other way around. The state is in the word. Time and space are in the word, and the word is in the state. So time and space is in the state. So when the state opens up and the word opens up, time and space is in the word. So time and space are in the word, and the word is in the state. Okay, so then therefore time and space is in the state. It's not state is in the time. Before we thought that the state is happening sequentially. State first, the waking state, then there's the dream state, and then the deep sleep. That means they are happening in time. But now we notice that time is and space is in the state. Okay, so the state is prior to time and space. If a state doesn't happen, time and state doesn't exist. The word doesn't exist. States are not in time, since time is in the word that is in the state. So therefore, the time is in states. Waking state is not common to everyone. It's private to me. So before we thought that, okay, this waking state opens up and everybody is sharing the same exact waking state. This is not happening. I have, as an awareness, as a witness, the waking state opens up right in front of me as witness, as an awareness, which is above the state. And I am looking at the state and the word, okay? And then this is private to me. There's nobody else in here other than me. All those people that are around me in the world, they're all objects, okay? I am the only subject in this. So this whole world, waking world, calling waking world, is happening to me. I am the only one who is experiencing it. And this world is as private to me as anything else. Just like the dream world. They are exactly the same. They present exactly the same to me. Me not as an egoic me. Me as an ultimate truth. This is who's watching, who's observing. Dream world is also private to me, same thing. The same way that the dream world that is private, because everybody thinks that the common world, this is waking world is common, and the dream world is only private to me. No, both of them are private to me as an ultimate, me not as a person. If you're thinking about from the point of view of a person, yes, waking is a common, dream is the private. But here, that's not what we're talking about. As a witness of these states, these both are private to me. They're both opening to me and closing, and opening and closing. That's how they appear. The dream world happens in the dream state and can't exist independent from the dream state. We talked about that. If the dream state does not open, you cannot experience dream world. Dream world, dream people, dream body, dream ego, these are all happening when the dream state opens up. If the dream state doesn't open, the dream world does not open. So dream state is prior to the dream world. The definition of the state is that has a start and ends. It appears and disappears. Because each state in front of me as an ultimate viewer right now, as from this angle, this state opens up in front of me and then completely shuts down. Okay, that's how it is. That has a beginning and has the end. It ends. And then dream, the same thing. Dream world opens up. It has a beginning and an end. So has a beginning, both of them, and then has an end. And then they appear, and then all of a sudden completely disappear. When the waking world disappears, the dream world starts. And then that's how they present to me, the actual view. And what is the deep sleep? When I examine it, then I want you to put yourself in the depth of the deep sleep right now. See if you can close your eyes. And I'm going to read that, see if that resonates with you. When I examine the deep sleep, it is timeless. It is limitless. There is no time and limit in there. Please close the eyes. It is unchanging, free from desire, free from fear, lacking nothing, ever peaceful. This is my true nature. It is not an imagination, not a religious belief. We can intuit this fact here and now by examining these three states, how we actually experience them. Deep sleep is not a state, since there is no time and space in it. It doesn't start and end. It doesn't appear or disappear. It is unchanging. In deep sleep, there is no time and space. There's no beginning, there's no end. But I exist because I can come back and I can report that and I can say, yes, I experienced that. I know what it is. But in that experience, I noticed that it is always there, it's unchanging. And deep sleep for everyone is identical, exactly the same. It's unchanging. It's the same exact thing. Everybody experiences the same exact thing. And so the deep sleep is pure consciousness without the object. It is conscious because I was conscious to see that nothing is happening. There's no object in here. So I exist, I know, I am conscious of that. It is pure existence. Pure, I would talk about the pure existence in a minute, but in detail. But I feel like I exist in the pure, something exists in here, which is conscious, not conscious that conscious of, but it's pure conscious and pure bliss. Pure bliss of, I would talk about that just a minute, but pure bliss, we just talked about that, is like the bliss of free from every fear, any kind of a desire, and the bliss of no other. There's only me, there's nothing else, there's nobody else. It's non-dual, it's just me. That is the deep sleep. From the waking point of view, it's called deep sleep, but from the actual experience, it is absolute unchanging self. That is very, very important. So what is deep sleep? Deep sleep is the self. So now let's talk about after this analysis. I'm going to talk about the states, how they appear, and how they can equally cancel each other. Now, when I look at the states, I notice that something first opens up as the waking, then it closes completely, and then some other dream opens up and closes completely, and then there's nothing happening. I can give you the analogy of the rope, snake, and stick. Imagine the deep sleep, the exact truth, the reality, which is in this unchanging reality, which we talk about in deep sleep. That is a rope, okay? Now, this rope can appear as a snake, okay? That means the waking state. Imagine waking state is a snake, appears as a snake. When it appears as a snake, it doesn't appear as a stick, okay? Then it disappears as a snake and then appears as a stick, like a dream. While it's appearing as a stick, it doesn't appear as a snake. At the same time, simultaneously, you cannot see both. It doesn't happen at the same time. If it is in as a snake, it's not the stick. If it is a stick, it's not a snake. So these are the two appearances that it appears, okay, and disappears. That's how that's how these states are. They appear and then there's a beginning and end, and then disappear. But they don't appear in time, Okay, the time is in the state. We talked about that. The time is in the state. Okay, they are not appear in time. It's not that first that the waking starts happening, then the dream, and then deep sleep. That's not how it is. There is no connection between these states. Once is one appear, the other one does not exist. We just talked about it. If it is snake, it's not stick. If it is stick, it's not snake. If these appearances are showing up, the other one is not showing. That's how it is. See, this is how it is. This is opening, this is closed. It doesn't even exist. Doesn't exist. And then this opens up all of a sudden and closed. That's how it is. That's how it appears in me. Okay? And then there's sometimes that there's nothing happening, but I'm still here. Okay, very simple. It's a very simple concept. That's the real vision. That's the correct vision of the states. Okay, the dream states and deep sleeps are not the event in the waking state. We talked about that. It is not something that's the point of view of the person in the waking state, that they think that there is a waking and then there is a dream and then the deep sleep. These are all happening in the sequential time. The states are not in time. The states are prior to time. Time and space and world is in the states. So the states is prior of time and space. So they don't appear in time. So time is in the states. States is not the time. Very important. This is extremely important to know. Time is in the state because the state is prior to time. First, the state has to appear, then the world, then the time and space. Okay, so now that we recognize there's the states opening and closing, now I want to know, how do you know the states? Who knows the states? Is the waking ego knows the state? The waking ego is a thought in the mind, like the other thought appears in the world, which is in the waking state. The waking ego is one of the thoughts, just like one of the thoughts. It's happening here in this body, and this body is happening in the waking state, in the world. The ego in the waking state cannot be able to see the waking states because the ego is stuck. The ego is stuck in the waking state. Very important. If you are already in this state, you cannot see the whole state. You cannot see from that angle, 90-degree angles. You can see it horizontally, so because you are in the state. Okay? So that is very crucial. So who is the watcher of the states? Very important. How do we see that? The way to know the states called intuition. What is intuition? What is the definition? The intuition is how we know something without using the mind and five senses. Very important. By the light of this existence, okay, we can intuit this fact here and now if we can examine these states by how we can actually experience them. This method has the capacity to invoke the intuitive aspects of you, to be able to discover this fact that I am the witness of the states without any doubt. That means, who is the watcher of this state? The ego in the waking state is not capable to do that. The same thing that ego in the dream cannot do that. The watcher of the states is, without a doubt, is right here and right now. Number 2, I am beyond the states because the states appears to me. When it says me, this is not an egoic personal me. This is this, I am as a witness, exists here. And this states appears and disappears in me. And I'm beyond that. Beyond means I'm not in it. It appears to me and disappears to me. So I am not in this state. The state is appearing to me. I exist with or without appearance of these states. Obviously, that's intuitively you have to know whether or not these states open up. I exist because look at the deep sleep that we call it deep sleep. It is not really deep sleep, but I'm going to talk about for now. In that existence in there is right here, right now. Okay, whether or not anything opens up and closes up, I'm here. That is intuitively we should know that. That state of deep sleep is the self. So when you want to really feel yourself, just know how that deep sleep was, and that's how you are right now. The states can't appear without me. So the word that within this state cannot appear without me. Very important. I am always here. The state can be opening or not opening, but I'm always here. The word that is in this state can open within the state or not, but I am always here. So the existence of the states and the word within that state is depending upon only me. If I'm not here, which is impossible, this state and the word that is in which state cannot open. Very, very, very radical, if you can see that. But that is the truth. Okay, that is the truth. Even the state appears, they are not existing apart from me. That means this appearance is not something different than me. Something I appear as snake all of a sudden, and then I disappear as a snake, but stay as a rope. And then I appear as a stick, and then I disappear as a stick. Again, I stay as a rope. So they appear and then disappear, but these states appear, they cannot appear without my existence. Okay? My existence, my conscious existence has to be there, behind that. The states are objects to me, same as the whole world, body, mind, time, space are objects to me. The states appears to me as an object. When it opens up, it has all this time and space and people and all that. It's all in here. So they all appear to me. They are appearance in me, and they're objects to me. So which one is the greater? The state or who I am or the truth? Which one is the reality? The states or the truth of who I am? Very important. People in the waking and dream states are objects to me. When I go to dream, I see a lot of people and everything, objects. In the dream, they're all objects. When the dream closes, they're all was objects to me. They don't exist. They don't have any conscious. Same thing with this one. When the waking state opens up, the people that I see, they're all objects, including this body, which is the objects in that world. So I am the one, the only one who is observing a subject in this background. So again, this subject object is just for you to understand, but there is really no subject and object. There is only me. The states appear, reside, and disappear in me. We talked about that. They open, they stay for a while, and then closes completely. From this point of view, the way these states appear is first there is a dream, then this dream completely vanished, then there is another dream, and then vanished, and then there is no dream. So dream, no dream. Okay, that's what's happening. I as self am here in the background observing these three dreams. These dreams rather. They do not appear in time to me. They are appearing right here and right now. Very important. This appearance is not happening in time. This is how it goes. Here I am as an absolute witness. Something opens up here and then closes in here in no time. Okay, the states There is no time in it. Then the dream state opens up like that and then closes. In here, it happens vertically. It's not horizontal. It's not in sequential time. Check it out. In my presence as existence, this is happening right here, right now, just like that, just like that, just like that. And then sometimes that there's nothing happening. Okay, so there's no time in here, timeless. It happens in timeless. Okay, so from the bias point of view, that if the waking point of view, we say waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. In the actuality, I never fall in deep sleep. I'm always awake, because that which is called deep sleep is who I am. And that is always here. It's not asleep. It's awake. It exists. I exist in there. And I'm conscious. Not only exist, but also conscious, but also bliss. Okay? These three things are the real, my true nature. It's like a fire and the heat in a fire. So I exist there. Okay? And I'm always awake. There is no, but in a point, from the point of view of the person in a waking state, that consider a deep sleep. But from my point of view, as a truth, that is who I am. That is myself. Okay, very important. So states are nothing other than me, because I just talked to you. They appear and disappear in me, so they can't be real. That which comes and goes cannot be real. That which is unchanging is real. So if I notice that there is something come and go and constantly coming and going and coming and going, but when something comes and goes cannot be the ultimate truth. That which is the truth is completely unchanging and ever present. Okay? So once I recognize that these are appearance and disappearance, at the end, I have to realize that there is no states. Okay, I pause here. There is no states. We use the states, the dream, as a superimposition so that we can understand the actual self. All there is the self. So there is no state. Ultimately, it is not about the states and experiences. It is about who I am. I am this. I am this. All there is this, and all there is me. Now, my final realization, I'm just going to read it very clearly to you. Place yourself at the deep sleep experience and listen to this. So close the eyes and listen to this. See if that resonates with you. Place yourself in the state of sleep, deep sleep, okay? How you experience there. And see if this message is resonate with you. I am that absolute reality, never changes, always conscious and bliss. I am pure existence, beyond time and space, because the time and space are in the state, and I am beyond the state. That is my true nature. Like heat in fire. Pure existence means timeless existence, not like things that they exist in time. I am pure consciousness, not the reflected consciousness that is a subject and object, not the kind of a reflection that when there's the waking states open up. And when waking states open up, there's this pure consciousness reflects on the body and the mind and the senses, so that this whole system can be able to function in the waking world. Okay, that is reflected consciousness. Once that waking state closes, that reflected consciousness collapses. It collapses. It's not there. So when the guru says that you are this consciousness, and then you are in the state of waking state in the time and space, that's why you cannot get out of that. Because once you know yourself in this waking state, in this time and space, you get stuck in that. And the consciousness that is there it's not permanent, because once the state closes, that consciousness completely closes. That's why you don't feel free, because from that point of view, okay, you can't see the truth. The truth needs to be seen, okay, by this new radical point of view, the real point of view, so that you can be able to see it, that I am beyond that state and the world, and I am the one who is observing the world. So I am the pure consciousness that is behind this, not the reflected one that I'm experiencing in the waking state or the dream state. Dream state is the same thing, it's a reflected consciousness. Once the dream closes, that consciousness completely vanishes. However, the pure consciousness is my true nature, is inherited in me. It's like a heat in fire. It's like a light in fire. So that is already there. But that is not in the waking state that I'm experiencing completely. It is when that true experience of that is when you go to deep sleep, which is right here and right now. But originally you have to see it, you have to discover it in deep sleep, and then realize that that is actually here. It's not something that I have to go to sleep to realize that. That is the pure consciousness. So please remember, there's a difference between pure consciousness and reflected consciousness. Reflected consciousness comes and goes. It's depending on this, whether the states open up or not. But the pure consciousness is inherited in me, in my existence that I am. I am pure bliss. Bliss of non-duality. That means there is no duality in there, okay? And there is no duality in the sleep, in the sleep state. When the dream state opens up, okay? Dreams to open up. You experience some duality. There's people, there are trees, there are objects. But when that closes, you realize there was no duality, okay? So there is no duality in the dream, and there is no duality in the deep sleep state. So the same as here in the waking state, there is no duality because there is only me. This is only a reflection. This is only a appearance and disappearance. So there is no real duality in here. And in this view, this duality ceased to exist. It collapses. All there is, all is left is who I am. That's the bottom line. So bliss is not depending on any experience. That is my true nature. That's obvious. It's not like something that has to happen to have that. That bliss means the bliss of just oneness, bliss of no other, bliss of non-dual. In what we call it deep sleep, there's this bliss of no other. There's a desireless, fearless bliss. And this is what all of us are looking for. We are looking for this state, this thing, this is who I am. This is who I am, that I am fearless, I am desireless. There is no any other, there's only me. So in this experience, consider yourself, again, deep sleep. I don't know anything. I never see anything. I never hear anything. Deep sleep. I never remember anything. I never forget anything. I was never born, and I never die. You can see that intuitively. In this state, there is no birth, there is no death, but I'm always here. Existence is here. That is conscious and is bliss. How I was in the sleep, and that means no dream. When there's a deep sleep that we just talked about, we call it deep sleep, but it's not deep sleep. Really, it's true self. How I am in there is how I am now, because my true nature never changes. That stays the same throughout the whole thing. It's like a common denominator of these two states, waking and dreaming, happens, but the deep sleep, that existence, it is the common denominator behind both states. I am always here in the background of it as unchanging. Dreams come and go. Dream changing. I am unchanging. Deep sleep is not a state, since there is no time and space in it. It doesn't start or end. It never changes. That which is really real never changes. That which is changing can't be real. So at the end of this examination, intuitively, I know that there is no creation. It is only appearance, opening and closing, opening and closing. There is no destruction. It is only appearance. So there is not, if nothing created, there is nothing destructed. So there is no creation, no destruction, because there is only appearance here. Nobody is ever born. There is only me, because there is only me here. Nobody ever died. I don't die. I have to know that. Nobody ever ignorant of the self. Nobody seeks for it, for the self. Nobody ever realized the self. The final truth is only the self exists. And I am that. I am that. One and only. That is the ultimate truth. So I want to thank you all for listening to that. If you want to make some comments, please do so. And my email address is eroozdar@hotmail.com. My website is Meditation Irfan. Irfan is ERFAN.com. You can also watch some of my interviews in Buddha at the Gas Pump for some introduction. And I will be happy to help you all from all of the world. And my service is for free for humanity. I hope this message resonated with you and can invoke that intuitive part of you that knows already the truth. I wish you all the best and peace and joy be with all of you. Thank you.